Hi everyone, welcome back to my second video. Now before I get into anything, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and show some love and like the video. And if you have any questions pertaining to any of the content that I put up, please do drop a comment in the comment section. I would love to interact with you guys. Happy advanced Valentine's Day. As promised, you have your Valentine's Day look here for you. Now this is an extremely beginner proof Valentine's Day look. It may look complicated, but honestly it's such an easy look to create, and this is the reason why I also picked this look and asked you guys in my broadcast channel if this is something that you would want to learn how to create, and most of you said yes. And I know, because in all the years of teaching, these are the kind of looks that a lot of women like to wear, and it's also very occasion appropriate. So for a lot of occasions, for a lot of events, these are looks that literally draw a lot of attention and always work. Now the exciting thing about this look is the kind of shade that we are going to be applying on the eye, which is a burgundy, a plum kind of color. You can use a deep red for a wineish effect. Now they're pretty much all around the same color palette, and I think that is what really makes this look work for Valentine's Day. So have fun creating this look, and I also wish you guys all the best. Happy Valentine's Day in advance, and let's dive right in. I've already done my brows, and I've also put a base on my lids, and the base was basically just concealer that I've used, so that is just to prepare. And now this look is going to be super easy to do for beginners as well. I'm going to make it as simple as possible. This look looks more glamorous, but the steps to achieve it is not that complicated. So I have prepared my lids. There is concealer on it, and I've already done my brows. We're going to get into the shadows now. So in order for this effect to really stand out and look very pigmented, we're going to start off with a base first that is creamy. So on top of the concealer I've applied just to even out the skin tone, and then we're going to move into a shimmery, bronzy, creamy shadow that we're going to apply on the lid. So you can use anything that is creamy for this. It could be shimmery, or even if you have a brown matte eyeliner which is smudgeable. So something that is really creamy and very easy to work with, nothing that's drying and patchy. So what I'm going to use is the Bobbi Brown Long Way Cream Shadow Stick, and this is in the shade Dusty Mauve. Okay, so I'm going to apply this on the lower lash line and on my lid. And I've got nothing on my base yet because I want to get the base to look really nice and clean. So just start off with the eyes first, smoke it out as much as possible. So even if you've dirtied it, it's completely fine. You can clean it up easily later. Alright, so apply this here at the bottom. So just underneath your lash line, and then also on top, just where the lid is. Now once you have applied that, just pick up a brush and quickly smudge it out a little bit. So I'm using something that is narrow and fluffy, and you're just going to lightly just smudge that out a bit, just so that there are no harsh lines and the effect would be soft. Now after this, we're going to pick up a maroonish shade. This is from the Tarte palette, something like this. Now you could use plum, you can use burgundy, you can use anything that is deep in color, that is in the maroonish range. So this is the color Jazz from the Tarte Cosmetics Amazonian Clay Eyeshadow Palette. The palette's name is Gilded. So I'm going to pick up a denser brush that is also small, and I'm going to pick up that color and gently just apply that on my lower lash line. and make it slightly thick. So this is what's going to allow you to achieve that smoked out effect. Okay, once that is done, I'm also going to pat this on my entire lid. Having the cream at the base would allow the color to really stick and last long. Until your lid follow this curve. Now same thing on this side. You would have to pick up quite a bit of product for this, so go all in. Don't be afraid. And just whatever that is remaining on the brush, just touch the bone a little bit. That's where your crease is. So just pat it on a little bit with whatever that remains. And then you're going to move into a fluffy brush. So this would be a blending brush. And you're going to pick up the same color, and you're just going to lightly apply a tad bit of color on your crease. So I'm picking up the same color, and I'm going to apply that on my crease. Wherever your crease is, you would feel the entire bone. So allow the shadow and the brush to just stick on that bone. And you're also going to extend this slightly out, forming a V-like shape right here. Same thing on the other side. Extend and form a V. Your guide is where your brow kind of goes. So in that same direction from here, go upwards. Now, if you have made any mistakes, you've placed the color a bit too high, a bit too low, just pick up your beauty blender and go over the area which you want to erase. And then now once that is done, you're going to pick up your eyeliner. So the one that I'm using is by Sicily, the matte black. Now I absolutely love this. This is the Phyto Kohl Star Waterproof in matte Onyx. And it's basically the matte black shade. Now this is extremely pigmented and black and intense, very smooth to apply, and you can also smudge this. So I'm going to go over in my lower lash line. And I'm also going to apply this a very thin line on the top lid. And it doesn't have to be extremely neat because you're going to smudge this out. And then with a small dense brush, we are just going to smudge that out. Now you can also set that slightly with a black shadow. And for those of you who want a little bit of highlight on the brow bone, you can apply, going with a highlight. Now I want to keep this look looking matte, so I'm just going to go in with a very light shade from the same Gilded palette by Tarte Cosmetics. And if you don't have a matte shade that is light, you can even just go in with a powder that you have, a compact or anything that is light. And then we're going to go in with mascara. The mascara that I'm using is the Silky Girl Lash Prism. Now I absolutely love this mascara because it really adds length and volume, and it's also very black, and it's easy to just peel off when you're washing, so it doesn't clump the lashes and stay on like for a long time. I'm also going to apply mascara at the bottom. This would add a bit more depth and intensity on the bottom of my lash line. Now once this is done, we're going to go ahead and do the rest of the face. I'm going to apply my moisturizer now. If you have any fallouts on this area, you want to use a wipe and just wipe that off first. Now be careful not to go into these areas because you want to keep the shadow there. So do not clean all the way up here, just until the bag. Okay, so clean all of that up and then go in with your moisturizer. So I'm going to go in with my moisturizer first. And then after the moisturizer, we're going to go in with a makeup base or a primer. So the one that I'm going to use is the MAC Lightful Coral Grass Tinted Primer with SPF 45. Now if you're going out in the day, do not forget to use an SPF right after your moisturizer. If it's at night, then you can skip the sunscreen. Now I'm going to use this because this is a primer and it also has an SPF. So I'm just going to apply this. I also like how this MAC Lightful primer sits on my skin. So I'm going to apply that on my whole face. Now once that is done, we're going to go in and do a little bit of correcting to remove the pigmentation. I'm going to go in with my Eyeliner Pro corrector. Apply that in the areas where you would have a bit more pigmentation. And then using a concealer buffer brush, just buff that only in the areas with the pigmentation. And then we're going to go in with foundation. So I'm just going to use the blender and gently remove any excess from the corrector, just very softly. And then I'm going in with my MAC Studio Fix Radiance foundation in the shade NC45. And using a foundation buffing brush, I'm just going to apply a bit of that throughout. And then buff that. And with the blender, I'm just going to go over the whole face again just to remove any excess foundation. And once that is done, we're going to go in with concealer. I'm just going to dab concealer. Either go in directly with your beauty blender or go in with a concealer buffing brush again and just buff that out. Now again, do not go all the way up here. You want to leave that smokiness under your eye. And anything here that you have made a mistake with, you can just clean up at this step as well. Concealer, when you apply the concealer now, it would just really help to brighten up and clean up all of that under eye area. The direction that you should be going again is the same mark as your shadow with the eyebrow. So that is your guide. Do not bring it to the side and do not bring it all the way up. You just want to kind of follow this way and go likewise. And after that, again, beauty blender, remove any excess, blend away any harsh lines, and then we're going to go in and set that with powder. So I'm using the MAC Studio Fix Pro Set and Blur powder in the shade Lavender. So this is what the product looks like. Okay. So I'm using the puff in this product. Apply this under my eye. Now this product really does blur out my skin. I feel like it actually does work for blurring out pores. For those of you who have pores, you can also use a pore primer at the base if you just really want to smoothen out your skin. And the best pore primer would be the Benefit Professional, the green bottle. I'm also going to apply a bit of this in the center of my nose, in the forehead. In the forehead, apply minimal product. Do not apply too much because we want to still keep it looking natural and subtle. So forehead, try to minimize the amount of product to use. And I'm just going to dab any of the excess around this area. And gently just go over my whole face. You can either use a powder brush for this, or you can just use the same puff to just go over the whole face and set it. Now, once this is done, in order to create a really nice shade under my eye, I'm going to pick up with a small brush the same maroonish shade and apply that under my eye again, just to give it that nice seamless finish that blurs out into that burgundy color. Now this color can sit on the entire bag of your eye. So do not be afraid to take it a bit thicker in this area. Now, if you want this to be brighter, you can also mix something that's a bit more bright and rosy. I've basically mixed these two shades now and I've applied that under the eye, just so that you see a bit more of color here. Using a clean brush, I'm just going to soften out the edges. With makeup, you shouldn't see any harsh lines. And then after that, we're going to move into the cheeks. So for the cheeks, I am picking up my Fenty Beauty powder. It's the Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation in 420. This is what the shade looks like. And I'm going to apply that to my contouring. So you can use a matte compact powder to contour, or you can use an actual contour powder.
Inside all this tension, a feeling I never.
And then the nose.
Don't know the cons, forget the whys. Do you know why? Triggered inside this situation. Wonder if
Softening that out with my beauty blender again, so that it doesn't look too harsh. And then we move in to the blusher. So for the blusher, I'm using this MAC palette. It is the Golden Hour Glow Face palette in medium, and this is what the shade looks like. It's quite a bright reddish pink shade, and then the highlights are also super pigmented, very glittery, so it's nice to use in the night. So if you guys are heading out for the night, then this would be a nice highlighter to use if you are a fan of that really popping, shimmery, glittery kind of highlights on the cheek, if you want to take it extra. So I'm going to pick up my blusher brush and apply that on my cheeks. Same thing on this side. So I'm going to apply a bit on my apples, just so that it shows from the front. Again, at any point you want to soften anything out, back to the blender, and you're just going to gently go over your blush. For the highlights, we're going to pick up a fluffy highlight brush, and we're going to face the light and see where the light hits, and then you're going to place the shimmer there. Once that is done, I am going in with my Dior highlight palette, and I'm just going to top up a bit of highlights on the center of my nose, right here and here. Because I don't want this pinkish pop of color on the center of my nose. And then I'm going to move into the lips, and this would be the last step. So we're going to pick up a brownish liner. So for those of you who are lighter skin, you can use a medium toned brown, and for those of you who are more tan to dark skin, you use like an intense brown. So I'm going to pick up my NYX shade lip liner that I'm going to be using, and it's in the shade Espresso. So I'm lining my lips with this.
Inside all this tension, a feeling I never was expecting. I don't see the pros, don't know the cons, forget the whys. Do you know why? Triggered inside this situation. Wonder if we maybe were
And then to fill it in, I'm going in with this Bobbi Brown lipstick. This is in the shade Lilac. It's the crushed lip color in the shade Lilac. I'm just going to gently apply this. And blend it out with my lip brush. You can use any lip colors that are light pink or soft pink, a bit more muted, it's up to you. And there you have it, your Valentine's, burgundy, plum, whatever you want to call it, eyeshadow look for you to go out for dinner or for lunch. It's a completely versatile look. Keep in mind you can also use any colors that you want that are deep and smoky, but I would say for this Valentine's, try out this color because it's something that's really sexy, it's sultry, is easier to play with, so don't go too far yet. Try this color out. It's also a very nice Valentine's Day color to use. So let me know how it comes out. Please also do tag me in pictures that you guys have taken with your makeup on, or if you've done the makeup look, feel free to send it on this community, on this channel, so that we can all share the love. And if you do upload it, please do tag me. If you have any questions pertaining to this look, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below, and I will get back to you guys.